Okay, so we are going to go through 2.2, and this is doing basics of solving with inequalities. So I'm taking what we did in chapter 1, and we're just converting it now into inequalities and then graphing it. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take and write out number 1. Let me pull the paper down a little further here so we can see it. And it is going to be x minus 3 is less than negative 4. So we're really going to do 3 steps here, and I kind of alluded to this in the last video. So step 1, in this case, is we're going to have to take and solve for x. And we're only going to do this in this section by adding or subtracting. So in this case, we're going to add 3 across so that x is isolated. So x is less than negative 1. So that's the first part of this. Now, in order to graph this, we have to ask a couple questions. The first question is going to be, is it open or closed? Well, in this case, if you look at it, x is open, or the inequality sign is open. So we're going to write open. Now, number 2, do I shade left or right? Well, since x is on the left-hand side like it's supposed to be, we can look at the way the arrow points, and the arrow points to the left. So we're going to say shade left. There we go. Sorry about that. So shade left. So now that we have that figured out, we can actually take and shade this. So I go up here and I put some numbers on my number graph. And remember to put a few in here just so that you can get an idea of how this looks. It's going to be an open inequality sign, and we said we're going to shade left. So we actually shade left. All right, now you try number 2. So we have negative 3 is greater than negative 3 plus h. So we're going to take that and do our 3 steps. Go. Check back in a few moments. Okay, so let's check what we got. First thing is we had to add 3 to the left-hand side to get h by itself. Now, once we got there and we got 0 is greater than h, we then had to take and rewrite that, because remember we talked about determining things. We need to rewrite it. So I flipped the 2 around and flipped my inequality sign so that it matched. So this still says that 0 is greater than h, only this time it says h is less than 0, which means 0 is still bigger. Okay, now the 2 things that we had to have, 1, it's an open inequality, so it means I have an open circle, and 2, we're going to shade to the left because the way the inequality sign is pointing. So I'm going to put an open inequality sign up here, and we're going to shade left. Great job. All right, look at number 3. Number 3 is basically the same thing. Our only difference is that we have a couple negative signs here. So let's take care of this double negative sign before I turn you loose on this particular problem. All right, now I feel better. So take a moment, pause the video, and work it out and see what you get. Okay, so this one was straightforward. We didn't have to move the s across the inequality sign because in this case, we actually already have it on the left-hand side. So now that we've solved, we know that s is greater than or equal to 1. So we know that by definition, greater than or equal to means it's closed. And since my inequality sign is pointing to the right, we're going to be shading to the right. So let's go to the number 1. We're going to close in our circle here, and we're going to shade right. Awesome job. Okay, so that's it for that problem. Now, look at number 4. Number 4, you have to do a little bit of work, but basically it's not too complicated, so I'm going to leave this one to you completely. Check back in a few moments, pause your video, and let's see what you get. Okay, did you get u is less than 1? Good. All right, so let's look what we've got. So if u is less than 1, that means it's an open circle, and we have to shade correct to the left. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So open circle, and we're going to shade to the left. All right, now we're ready for our next set, which is going to be 5 through 7. Now, on these next set, they're really not difficult. They're just a little more complex. Complex meaning the solving part. We really didn't make it difficult, but there's more steps. So let's look at number 5, and then I'll leave you to number 6. So number 12 is less than or equal to C minus 3C plus 10. Now we can look right away and see that we're going to have a closed, because that's not going to change. You can put closed here at the beginning because it really is not going to change. Let's go ahead and combine our like terms on the right hand side. So it's going to give me 1C plus 10. Then we're going to subtract 10 across. So I get 2 is less than or equal to C. And then remember, we must rewrite this. So C is greater than or equal to 2. Now, once we have that rewritten, we can see clearly that which way we're going to shade. And since C is greater than or equal to 2, that means we're going to shade right. All right, so let's go ahead and put in our numbers. And since we're shading right, we have a closed circle and we shade to the right. Okay, excellent. Now I want you to try number 6 on your own. So let me put number 6 up here for you. So number 6 is 16 minus 7p plus 8p is greater than 15 minus 2. Remember when you get done that you then have to take and graph it, but also give me the 1 and 2 that it takes to know what to graph. All right, I'm pausing the video. Check back in a few minutes. All right, I hope you paused the video. So when we solve this, we get p is greater than -2, which is an open circle, and that means we shade right. So let's go ahead and put a couple numbers on our number line. Okay, open on -2, and we shade to the right. That's all there is to it. Now, number 7 is a story problem. So let's look at number 7. And it says, you have $15 to spend on groceries. You have $12.25 worth of groceries already in your cart. Now, they want us to write an algebraic inequality. So the first thing we're going to do is know that 15 is our total. And we want to purchase $15 worth of groceries. All right, so that's the first thing you need to keep in mind. So it is greater than or equal to, because that's the max amount I can spend because that's all I have with me. We've already spent $12.25. How much more can we buy is what we're asking, and they're using M as the variable. So it's just plus M. Now, that's my part A. My part B says, now take and solve it. Well, folks, this is straightforward. Subtract your $12.25 across. And when you do that, you get $2.75 is greater than or equal to M. Or, if we rewrite it like if we were going to graph it, M is less than or equal to $2.75. So I can buy one more item, or I can buy a couple items as long as it's not greater than $2.75. All right, that is it for this section. And what I want to encourage you to do is start on your homework right away so you don't forget. If you have any questions, you know you can always email me. Great job.